everybody, it's time to LOL. Listen out loud, that is. It's time for Anime Jam Session with DJ Ranma S, Mako-chan, and Ari Rockefeller.
Hey everybody, welcome to Anime Jam Session, episode number 684. We are that podcast that talks about anime, games, conventions, the fandom, geek stuff, and everything in between. I'm DJ Ranma S.
I'm Mako-chan.
And I'm Berry Melon.
Oh crap, it's a berry melon!
I know, Wild Berry Melon has appeared. It's been quite a while, guys.
Yes, it has. And Ari is working overnights tonight, but don't worry, he should be back next week. And as you can see, I've kind of made a slight change with my microphone setup. This is probably just be a temporary thing. I'm seriously thinking about moving the hand, like the arm, to the other side. So we'll see how it plays out.
Mm-hmm.
I actually want to set up so it's like underneath my monitor, but my desk, with what limited real estate space I have, is very tight. So I got to figure out something. So, anywho, enough about that. How is everybody doing tonight?
All right, I suppose. Yeah, it's better than it was this weekend. That's all I could tell you.
Oh, really? That's something you have to discuss later?
I got hacked, so
Oh, Jesus.
that was fun.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Anyway.
I am so sorry that has happened to you.
No, it's all good.
Trust me, I kind of understand that pain. At least you didn't have to go to court over it.
I mean, thankfully, I'm broke enough that they don't really care. Like,
I told you about them steal like some real estate agents stole my ID and information, right?
Yeah, I think you've
Yeah.
told me about how your identity got stolen before.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had that happen before. Like, it's not anything I think that I'm unaware of. It's just, it's something that was very unfortunate timing because I had a bunch of 3D rendering and files that I had been working on and I had to reformat that whole computer. So I'm still suffering from it. But anyway, yeah.
Offsite backups are your friend.
Well, unfortunately, this computer was new enough and I didn't have an external hard drive that I felt comfortable with, and I didn't want to do cloud storage. So there's a lot of aspects. Yes, I could have been better. I could have done better stewardship for myself, but I didn't. So I'm just not gonna be on it right now.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And me being in IT, trust me, I completely understand.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
anywho, we are live tonight, week of July 29th, 2025. Jesus, where does the time go?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You blink, it's summer. You blink, it's fall. Blink, you're broke because of the holidays. You blink and
That's how it goes.
and you're just like screwing yourselves into 2026. Wow. Blink again and you realize no more long summer days, just long, miserable winter nights. Anywho, enough about that. We are live tonight, live on Tuesdays from 9 to 10:30 p.m. Eastern. You'll always find us at Twitch TV/Anime Jam Session. We're also proud to be part of the Voice of Geeks Network at VogNetwork.com, and you will find them not just at VogNetwork.com, at Twitch TV/VogNetwork, where the other shows stream. They kick things off on Sundays with the Bobby Blackwolf Show at 8 p.m., followed by Orange Lounge Radio at 9. And come hang out in our Discord, vognetwork.com/Discord. Every show that's part of the Voice of Geeks Network has a channel, so come through, hang out, and have a good time. And just so you know, the pool is open. And now we got that out the way, I'm going to kick things over to Mako-chan with, how was your week? How was your day?
Not horrible. I just basically lazed around
Mhm.
and cuddled the cat.
There you go.
Seems legit. Anywho, Barry, how was your week? How was your millennia? What have you been up to?
Well, all things considered, it's better than it could have been. Obviously this weekend is my birthday, so I'm gonna be having my sub birthday is what I've been calling it, because it's not really gonna be like extra time or anything. It's just gonna be a small celebration for me and my community and my friends on the platform. And basically just gonna be doing some activities and some games and all that stuff to make it a lot more fun. But yeah, it was almost a travesty. So I'm doing better.
Oh my
It
god,
has been
birthdays.
it has been time. Yeah.
All right, so my weekend day has been basically about the same, except that I actually was social over the weekend.
Ooh.
Yeah, my best friend from high school, I caught up with him, and we went to a beer hall not too far from the train station, and we went there, had lunch
Oh, that's nice.
and we had some drinks and caught up with life. And I realized this is something we have to do more often because the last time I saw him was maybe about 2 years ago. So, but you know how it is when you're an adult. Let's do this again sometime. Six
Yep.
weeks
4 years
later.
later.
There you go. There
Yeah.
you go. And you're just like, where does the time go? So I did that.
Yep.
And then I went to Micro Center because I needed a new hard drive because I was running out of space on my external. And I picked up a 20 terabyte one for $200. And
That's actually not bad at all,
yeah,
honestly.
it was only because it was 200. It was really 280, but member pricing $200. And I looked up the drive. It's been kind of positive with mixed reviews, but I'm just using it just for like storage.
Yeah.
And I got Crystal Disk running, so as soon as that warning hits like around like between 50 and 60%, that is when I will be purchasing another one, moving all the data, contacting the company, and have them, I need y'all to fix this, replace the drive or something. Because I wanted to get like the heavy duty NAS drives, but I don't have that type of money right now, and also I don't have a place to put a friggin' NAS at the moment. I really don't. So I've been keeping everything kind of between drives for the time being. I did that. I also went to Japan Village, and what's cool about Japan Village is basically like a little Japan of sorts. So I went to Sunrise Mart, walked in, and found Green Dakara. I was like, holy shit. Now,
What is that?
Okay.
What's that? How's that?
Have you ever had Pocari Sweat?
Yes, I have. Uh-huh.
Green Dakara is a lighter tasting Pocari Sweat.
Okay.
That's basically, it's just another electrolytes type drink. I was drinking these when my friend Cheyenne told me about it, because when I was in Japan, I was basically drinking like maybe one bottle of Pocari Sweat a day or every other day, mixed in, because I was like, let me try this drink, let me try that drink. And it was like when I was doing a lot of walking, I'm like, I need something for electrolytes. So she told,
Yeah. That's important.
Yeah, she told me about Green Dakara, and I tried it, and it was like it was really good. It's a lighter tasting Pocari Sweat. So I just wasn't expecting
That's cool.
I wasn't expecting to find it, even though I'm in a Japanese convenience store. But at the same time, it's like when you go to Japan, you have all these different types of drinks, and you don't expect to find a few of them back home. So I did that. So I only drink it when I'm like, when I come home. If I come home from work, I'm just like sweating and tired. I'll have a little bit of it and then go about my day, because I found out there's grapefruit in this, and I cannot have grapefruit because of one of my cholesterol meds.
Yeah.
But I think it's pure grapefruit. This is just a mixed in with everything else. So I try not to drink it around the time I take that medication.
Yeah.
So it's a 2-liter bottle that I picked up, and I think I drank maybe about a third of it. So I know it's going to take a while. So I'm perfectly okay with that.
Yeah.
So
I'm a fan of grapefruit flavored drinks and sodas. I always find them really refreshing.
And that's the thing that kind of annoyed me, because when I was at the beer hall, I like grapefruit Hefeweizen, grapefruit German beer, and they had one on tap. And I was like, fuck, I can't drink it. I was like,
Oh, yeah.
so I have to wait till my cholesterol numbers drop down where I don't need to take the med, and then I will go over and try it. So
Yeah.
I don't mind. So there was that. And then, yeah, and Pod Culture talks about Ting, which is a Jamaican soda. I've seen that in my neighborhood a lot, but I never bought it because I'm like, wasn't my thing, but I may have to try it now. So,
Thank you, Sienna Beauty.
but there is that, and I'll talk about that part under Geek Roundtable. But I went to Book Off, and I found something there I'll talk about later. I was like, I didn't expect to walk in here and find this, and I'm also telling myself I have no business being in a Book Off right now.
Yeah, it's dangerous. Book offs are a dangerous place.
No,
for sure.
But it's not even that, Barry. It's the fact that I bought about I would have to say about $700 worth of figures.
What? How? Why? How? Why?
Wait, what? I didn't tell you about that.
No.
Okay, after the call tonight, I will tell you more. I will show you the pictures.
Okay.
I found.
All right.
Basically, I found good deals. Mistakes were made.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Let's just say I had to ship stuff home, and I wasn't even done with the first week.
Oh my gosh.
And this is why I tell people, save Akihabara for last.
Yeah, or at least if you're gonna go, like if you've never been to Akiba before and it's like your first time, go on like the first day and then make a loop back.
No,
I would say that for Nippori as well. If you are a sewist like myself, if you're a fashion designer and you just like Japanese fashion and sewing and doing DIY crafty stuff, save Akiba and Nippori for yourself for on the way home.
Actually, not necessarily, because we went to Nippori.
Oh?
It wasn't a lot of stuff. Again, after the show, we'll
yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, and that's why. So I went there. I went to the Daiso, and in the back of the Daiso was a Bandai Namco cross store. So I went in there, and it was much smaller than I thought it would be, but it was still a nice little spot. So I went through there. They had tons of gashapons. Unfortunately, they did not have any Ranma 1/2 gashapons. Because what's funny was, when I was in Kyoto walking down the street, I heard this older Japanese woman go, and I can't believe I said older Japanese woman, go, Ranma 1/2. And I just, my ears burned. I stopped and I turned around and I just was like, oh. Put my money in there, got a gashapon, and then basically every time I passed a gashapon store or spot, my eyes kept darting around for Ranma 1/2, and I found at least half the time I was looking. So yeah. Oh, so enough about that. So I did that, hit Target, and I came home, and then Sunday, I kind of cleaned up my room per se. And what I did was I had gotten a new surge protector, and I realized after I set it up, I should have gotten one with 12 ports instead of 10, because you have to get ones where at least 4 of the ports are like for big blocks. Unfortunately, some surge protectors, 2 of them are good for blocks and the other 2 not so much. But I had like an extension cable, which I was able to use. So that's all set up. I kind of swept and got a lot of the dirt out of there, replugged everything in, set up the external, and I've been slowly moving everything over. So, and I don't know what I did, but there's a static in the earpiece of my headphones. But thankfully, y'all can't hear it. I'm the only one who can. So, and I don't know what I did the last time with the cables. It wasn't it. I know there's some type of interference, but I will deal with that in a couple of weeks when I get down here and I finish setting it up the way it should be. I'm probably going to end up mounting my router, my access point router, which is sitting on my desk. Probably just gonna mount on the wall and say screw it, or maybe put it on top of the or maybe I get like a little ledge or something and put it on the floor or something like that underneath the subwoofer. I'll see what Amazon has. So that's basically has been my weekend day. It's just me kind of sort of being a responsible adult.
Responsible. $700 late there.
Quote unquote. Hey, that 700. Hey, I was on vacation, so that was okay.
I know, I'm just teasing you. And you were in a country where you could get that stuff more readily. And considering the pricing nowadays for like a good figurine and stuff, you got some good deals.
I will say this. One of my best deals was the Aoyuki Korone figure from the VTuber anime.
Hmm.
Otaku Mode was selling it for $25.
Oh,
I found it for I'm looking right now. I found it for 900 yen. That's like $7.
that's not too bad. I think
Brand
when I
spanking new.
was over there in 2019, I ended up finding because I like the gacha or like the crane machines.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes what'll happen is people will win those prizes and they'll sell them to secondhand shops in Akiba.
Yeah, yeah.
And I really wanted like a Ranma or female Ranma or a shampoo one, and I ended up finding a female Ranma one and a Maleficent one
Mm.
at one of the stores for like $10 or less or something like that. So it's honestly, you can find it if you don't win them in the gacha or the
Yeah.
whatever. You can always try finding them in secondhand shops. But
Well,
yeah.
oh, that I knew because a lot of like some of the figurines that you buy like on Otaku
Mhm.
Mood, Ami, Amazon, even at conventions,
Mhm.
a lot of them are from Crane Machine games, or they're designed for Crane Machine.
Yeah.
But you could also find them in retail stores as well. So a lot of them have like a little
Yeah.
icon that looks like a crane. So, or even in the description.
Mhm.
So there is that. And then the second best
Yeah, there's
deal I
that.
got was, it was the Alina Clover figure I got.
Oh,
I paid 1,000 yen for that.
okay.
And then the third best deal was, now when it comes to brands of figurines and stuff like that, one of the more popular ones is Atelier. They are more pricey. Expect to drop money.
Yeah.
So I walked in this shop in Osaka and I found the Atelier Yoshiko Tsushima figure. I was kind of harping on getting this figure even on my last trip to Japan. If I had bought it from Otaku Mode when it came out with shipping, it would have ran me over $250.
Mm-hmm.
I paid $135 for it, brand spanking new. It was 19,800 yen. They had the opened one for 18,000. And I'm like, I'll just spend the extra. Let me get the new one. There's like a $7 difference, so F it, That's what I end up doing. All right, so enough about that. Let's get into some housekeeping notes right now. We want to let you know that video episodes of this podcast are available on our YouTube page at youtube.com/anime jam session. Episodes are available Thursdays at 12 noon. And don't forget, we have Fans View Friday coming up with Wisteria Witch VT. What she does, she goes to the Internet Wayback Machine or Internet Archive and pulls up a Fans View, which was basically one of the best cosplay pages back in the day for photos and so forth, that was run by the late, great Kevin Lillard. So she picks a convention, talks about the cosplays in the convention as a whole. And what's cool, and if you were watching and you went to this con, mention it. I know she covered animes, one of the animes, because I'm like, I think I was there for that. I might be in one of those pictures, something like that. But for this Friday, she is doing NekoCon 2000. So definitely want to check that out. Friday, I believe, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. And as of right now, our next convention for Anime Jam Session is Pop Cult Anime Convention, I believe the weekend of August 23rd. This is still up in the air. If I get a confirmation, that'll be our next convention. If not, our next con will be another anime con in October. So I think we have that. DerpyCon, and I think we might actually hit Anime New Jersey. I'm mildly curious about that one. So that's it about that. And now we're going to get into Geek Roundtable. This is the part of the show we talk more about the geekier aspects of our lives and what we've been up to. So before I get into mine, I want to really talk about the cool thing that I found at Book Off. I'm going to kick it over to Mako-chan because she has a moose on display.
I do have
A
a moose in
moose.
display.
Okay, just making sure I saw what I thought I saw.
Yes, it is a moose, which is one of the nicknames for Sam from Supernatural.
And there it
This
is.
is the 10th year anniversary for Jared Padalecki's Always Keep Fighting.
Mm.
The
Oh.
campaign raises money, sometimes for specific things like other charities. I know that they have given money to the charities to write love on her arms, the Wounded Warrior Project, and then various mental health related projects.
Mm.
So this is the 10th anniversary for the you know the organization as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
They did start, as I said, there is an actual charity now, an organization for Always Keep Fighting. It is very much for helping people with mental illness, getting the awareness out there about mental illness, trying to, uh, I guess, relieve the stigma of mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
So I always try and get something from the Always Keep Fighting campaigns. Um,
Yeah.
Sounds
One of the
good.
campaigns is actually what I have my tattoo based on. It's the You Define You campaign. So, mental health for this is definitely a big part of, what should be out there. It should not be hidden. It should not be something that people, fear to talk about. It, it happens, and if people need help, then people need help. There's
They
nothing
do.
wrong with that.
Yeah.
I'm all
So,
about that. So definitely.
yeah, so I have my little moose. It's a keychain. It's a little big for a keychain.
Mm.
Um, so I will probably be hanging it on my keychain tree.
You have a
And yeah.
keychain tree?
Nice.
Hmm?
You have a keychain tree?
Yeah,
Mm.
I never packed up my Christmas tree one
Oh,
year, and
that.
I just
Oh,
been
okay.
hanging
Gotcha.
all
Yeah.
my keychains on it.
Gotcha. All right. No, I didn't know what that. Okay. Okay. Because for a split second, when you say keychain tree, I'm picturing back when I was in Japan walking through Akihabara. There are some weebs, some otaku that have like keychain on top of keychain on top of keychain, and is either attached to their phone, like a series of charms, or attached to their bag.
I did that when I was a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I stopped doing that when I started driving,
Ah,
uh, because all the keychains would get in my way.
fair enough.
Mm.
Fair enough.
It's also the reason why I technically carry 2 different keychains with me. One has my key on it, and the other one has all the fun stuff. Yeah. But yeah, so he's gonna go on my ex Christmas tree that has been turned into my keychain storage.
Oh, trinket tree, oh, trinket
Nice. Oh,
tree.
trinket tree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's a good idea. If you like to have, the festive lights up, this gives you an excuse to keep them up all year because you're just decorating your
Definitely.
All
tree
right,
with your shit.
now you're saying festive light. So is it a Hanukkah bush now?
No, it's a keychain tree.
I know, I'm just
Huh.
teasing.
Okay.
All right. Now, before you put the moose up on there, there's one thing you need to add to it:
What?
a small bottle of shampoo.
Oh,
Oh,
because mousse and shampoo,
Yes, yes.
Mako, Ranma 1/2.
I know. I know.
Yeah, I know. That oh my gosh. We're gonna throw Ron Mao with the bathwater. That's what's gonna happen at this point for his puns.
No, that's fine. I just need to, because there are plenty of jokes about Jared Padalecki's hair and the
Oh
product.
no.
So there are memes out there with Jared Padalecki for
Oh
like,
my goodness.
herbal essence and shit like that. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
now
The
as
urge to
soon as he
herbal
said that,
stuff.
I'm just like, I
Mhm.
could do that and it would still make sense.
No. Gosh, you guys and your dad jokes. I cannot with you.
But you still love
I had to
us.
deal with my two lovely friends who were acting like toddlers in the back of a car, like smacking each other. It's touching my space. Now I have to deal with dad jokes. All right, I've gone full circle.
So did you stop? Did you turn around and say, if you don't stop right now, I'm gonna turn this car right back around?
No, literally, I'm like yeah, I'm gonna turn this stream around. Yeah, I was exactly. Yeah.
All right, Barry, what have you been up to?
Well, let me do some magic real quick.
Dun dun dun.
So I recently ended up having some stuff going on. Coming up soon. If it's okay that I do a little pluggy plug for myself. Oh, there we go. Are we good?
Mm-hmm.
I think. Let me see. All right, there
All
we
right.
should be good now.
You good?
But yeah, I am going to be celebrating my birthday. So I was preparing for that a
Mm-hmm.
lot and doing a lot of artwork and stuff like that. But then I ended up having a situation where I had some stuff that was compromised, which then led to me having to reformat a whole computer, which then led to me having to redo slash try and get some of that work back. And hopefully it will turn out well this weekend. But generally, I mean my geeky things have been trying to do computery stuff in lieu
Mm-hmm.
of being put in a situation that was not as fun. So I learned how to do that a little bit and deal with that kind of stuff. Always have two-factor authentication and change your passwords, folks. If you haven't yet, this is your reminder. And save your backups. Okay, God forbid. I this was a newer computer. I hadn't gotten an external hard drive yet. I ended up picking up a 5 terabyte one. I think there was like a sale going on like I can't remember, a Seagate or something. And so I
Mm-hmm.
picked up a Seagate 5 terabyte. And so I have one big enough to back up the whole computer now. So I have been going through and doing that, but I've had recently also I've been showing Ranma and the client piece that I've been working on. For those that don't know, in the dreaming, I do something called dream weaving, which is I make cosplay for some lovely humans that want to dress up like their characters they want to be. Because it brings them joy. And I've recently been working on a white mage cosplay for a client from Final Fantasy 14,
And I saw
which
that.
has
That looked.
proven to be quite a cool challenge.
I saw that. It looked really nice.
I freehanded all the design work on it, and because it's white and red, I had to go through and like try to do some testing and stuff. I think it's still gonna unfortunately only be dry clean only because the suede itself, like I can do as much as I can, but when you put red on white, you are gonna get pink somehow. And so I did what I could to prevent it, but um yeah, generally that's kind of the biggest thing I guess I've been like geeking out about is that while I'm not going to be cosplaying, I think for the events that I go to this year, unless I just dress up like myself, my beautiful
Mm.
self, I will be making cosplay for clients. So that's always nice. I always find it fun to have new challenges with cosplays and things like that. So, yeah, that's kind of been what I've been geeking out about. And then of course this weekend, birthday bash. So if you want to stop by, yep, I'll be doing that on my channel, being geeky and derping and having fun with some other VTuber friends. So yeah, that should be fun.
I mean, I'm gonna be real with you about that when it comes to cosplays. Now, if it's not like a cotton-esque fabric, yeah, it's going directly to the dry cleaners. Fuck that. If it's multiple layers, it's going to the dry cleaners. Fuck that. I mean, hell, I mean, my Mamoru blazer, that's automatic dry cleaners. I'm like,
Yeah, when it comes to I mean, like this is a poly cotton blend and then the suede that is the red on it was all a polyester and a big part of that is because traditionally,
Mm-hmm.
you are pretty rest assured that polyester fibers will not shed their color because they are dyed at the fiber level, at the point of extrusion, which basically is the point where they take the thread of color and they make it into very pretty fabrics. And usually you won't have bleed, but with this particular, like with red in general,
Mm.
it's just always going to have some sort of transfer. And so I've done my best. I did my due diligence as the maker, but we'll see what happens. It also is multi-layered because with white mages, you've got like an underrobe that has a collar to it, and then you've got like a little bolero, like a short bolero jacket
Mm-hmm.
that's got like a little hood on it. So it's just, yeah, it's just been a lot of thinky thunky work, but my client was happy and told me my patterning was perfect. I don't always think
Hey,
that, but it's always nice to hear from the client when they're happy, you know.
that's
So
all
that's
that
all I can.
matters. Yep.
I'm living on that prayer.
See, that's all that matters, really.
Yes.
All right. So now that we got that out the way, actually, I just realized I have to talk about mine. I just realized I forgot, but let me talk about
Yeah,
it real
you got
quick.
to talk about yours, Ron.
No,
Huh?
I kind of want to jump into the next topic, but like I said, when I was at Book Off, I did find this one figurine, and I post. If you follow me on Blue Sky and Instagram, you already know. If you're on my personal Facebook, you already know. If you're on my fan page, you already know. But if you're not, so here it is. I'm going through all the the figures. I'm just looking, and I see like this pink box, this pink white vertical box, and I see on there Love Hina. I'm like, no. And I look over, and I see the figure, and I'm like, is this Naru? And I look, it's not. It's Masumi. And I already have that figure when I bought it like over 20 years ago, thinking that this is a Naru, but it wasn't. I didn't realize it till after I bought it, but I was like, oh well. And for a while, I kept checking eBay for the figures, and I seen it fluctuate anywhere between 20 and $100. Fine, whatever. And I right before I put the figure back, I see another one. I was like, huh, what are the odds? The odds were in my favor. So now I have the Love Hina high grade figurine of Naru Sagawa, and with the very trademarkish cowlick of hers. So I was quite excited to get my hands on this. So I'm like, definitely. I'm probably going to put that in storage. I don't know if I'm going to take it out and put on display at the moment, but I haven't decided. Given that on my quote unquote display shelf, it's Awakuni, Free Ren, Alina Clover. We also have Rebecca from Cyberpunk Edge Runners. We also have Asuka Langley in her Lolita outfit. The Atelier Yohane figure. Marin Kitagawa as Shizuku-tan. And there's a plush of Mai Sakurajima sitting up there. So I gotta figure out how to put them all nice and neat, and then find a new place to put the air purifier. Good thing I still have that extension cord. So anywho, that's what I want to share from Geek Roundtable. Also, I have been catching up with some anime. I've started keeping like a list of what I watch during the week, because I use my anime list to keep track of stuff. And what they have to let you know what you watch during the week, it doesn't kind of sort of help. What I want to do is go on the site and you get like a little drop down, like, these are the series that you are currently watching this week. So I know exactly what to watch and catch up on. So there is that. All right. So now that we got that out the way, we're going to talk about something. We're going to bring back what I like to call the hot topic. And I don't mean the store chain either. But it kind of works one in the same. And for this week, we are going, let's see if I can find it. Here we go. We are going to talk about the discourse of anime Boston. I apologize if I blew anyone's ears out. All right. So, here is something that you probably don't know about us. The three of us here have not just volunteered at conventions and done panels and so forth.
Oh God.
We've also staffed conventions as well. I used to run a karaoke department. Mako used to run a video department. And Barry used to run a maid cafe. And we can tell you, over time, it gets a little chaotic, gets a little rough, and sometimes it gets to a point where we have to step down and hand the reins on to other people. There are people who live and thrive off of it, and they continue doing it. Good for them. Good for them. Others, not so much. There was a period where I was balancing photography and karaoke, and eventually I had to let the karaoke go and focus more on the podcasting and photography side of what I really wanted to do. So now this popped up. Let's see. Sorry, I didn't. Let me pull it up here. This was on Threads, and for those of you who don't know, if you really want to see all the juicy gossip that cosplayers are talking about, just look up cosplayers of Threads. I guarantee you, for one positive thread you find on there, there's at least 15 drama-filled ones, which are kind of more logical than the shit that you find on Facebook, 4chan, or Reddit. I'm just as surprised as you are. So normally, if I had gotten in enough time, I would have this on the screen, but I'm going to read this off for y'all. See, let me see if I can find this person. And basically, we're going to discuss what happened with Anime Boston. It wasn't a bad thing. It's just what they're promoting. So, and it's just, yeah. All right. So, anywho, to summarize, Anime Boston is looking for someone to run their Masquerade department, their Masquerade coordinators. They're going to have more than one. They're basically telling you when the con is, this is for next year, what your duties are, and if you're interested, and that it's non-profit. Now, and they tell you about the benefits. And generally, when you work a convention, your benefits are basically free room and board, free food, a t-shirt, you get to jump the line if you want, and maybe even travel reimbursement depending on how far you're coming and so forth, you know?
And this isn't standard. Like there's no standardization for it. It can vary and it can be very limited, and especially if you have disabilities, special needs, or even food allergies. I know, just as an example, like one of the events that I worked ran out of my dietary needs, even though they said that they would supply food within the first day of the event. And I had to supply my own food if I wanted to eat, or eat food that was not good for me just so that I could function. Like, yeah, it's a thankless job sometimes.
It certainly is. Now, this person who goes by the name of Samurai Jill basically is saying that this isn't fair. Pay your staff. This is not a volunteer position. And she has a valid point. For all intents and purposes, what we do on this podcast, we should be getting paid for this because we're basically putting in the effort of a normal job, because there are actual podcasters that do this, radio DJs, all of that. We do this on a volunteer basis, and whatever money we make from this handles the back end stuff. That's all it is. That's all I really care about. I've invested an exuberant amount of money in doing this because this is what I enjoy and this is what I love. So you do have people who will volunteer and staff all these conventions because it's their way of giving back. They have a lot more fun doing that. Now, and like I said, this came up as a hot topic. Now, there is another cosplayer, The Legend of Emily, which I give a lot of props for not really pushing back, but explaining it. What we talked about, and in what Barry said, is it isn't a standard, but it became a quote-unquote standard. Sort of like how this country, the official language is English, but it really isn't. Even though there is an executive order, but let's be real, we don't give a damn about executive orders. It's like that. And there's been pushing back and forth. And the big thing, and something that I said, I'm like, if the convention is for profit, most likely anybody that's on staff, whatever, is getting paid because they're all about making money. Like if you staff New York Comic Con, Anime NYC, anything about Reed Pop or Left Field, you're going to get paid for your efforts. And the thing is, if it's a non-profit, you're not going to get some type of financial contribution because technically you are getting paid. It's not money, but you're getting food, shelter, quote unquote transportation reimbursements. And let's say they didn't give you that and they just gave you straight cash. You'd still be pulling that out to pay to get that. So, and that's basically what I've been seeing over the last few days. The pushback back and forth that nonprofits should be paying their staffers. They should be paying their board of directors. They should be paying their department heads. There are probably a couple that do, but for the most part, they don't. And some are saying it's a scam. You're being ripped off. Well, I look at it this way. If nobody's is getting paid for their roles, why should you get paid for it? And another point is, just because it's a nonprofit, that does not mean they're not allowed to make a profit. Whereas nonprofits do make some type of money, but it's more like enough for operation costs to have something like a security blanket in case something happens. Because of like, what am I looking at?
Not only that,
Mm-hmm.
because I've dealt with conventions that have been in the red and in the black at the end of years that they've had to function. Many actually operate at a loss. And a lot of that is because they have enough money for a budget, and then sometimes costs go up and costs go down, and they do not always allocate for that. There were, I think, a set of like 3 years that I worked at one event, and they were in the red for the 3 years because basically the money that they were making off of the membership fees for the next year, which was mismanagement, I'm gonna say that straight up, was being pushed towards running the event. Not only that, but then subsequently, when you are dealing with a nonprofit, especially those that run the gamut of what a lot of anime conventions tout themselves as, which is educational or entertainment in a way that is towards a common goal. A lot of time they will get grants from either sponsorships through like educational avenues such as scholarships or schools, or they will get grants from embassies and stuff towards their duty, right? So if they're teaching like Japanese tea ceremonies and stuff, they might work with the embassy of Japan in whatever capital city that they're based in and get a grant from them or get a sponsorship from them. And it will be either like tax deductible to that entity or whatever. And so when you're dealing with this, if they pay all their workers, they can't claim to be a nonprofit. So they're not only that, but primarily the only officers I personally have seen, and I may be misremembering because it has been quite a few years since I have been part of a big organization, were the paralegal assistance and support and certain like people who were required to be on call 24/7 and where it was actually their job outside of the convention to do so. So think of the lawyers that handle the IP that might have to take on cases in other countries, which was the case for actually a convention that I was part of, actually had a copyright infringement in Brazil that they actually ended up having to have a world like because a US lawyer isn't going to handle that IP. They're going to have to get a global lawyer or a lawyer in that location that can handle that kind of court case. So when you are dealing with these kind of things, you have to consider that, okay, they're a nonprofit or even the for-profit companies that are doing this. A big part of that is like what do you want to offer and what is the benefit, and then like knowing yourself. At the end of the day, with my volunteer job and what I was doing, it was taking me like 3/4 of the year to prepare what I was doing. But at the time, because I work for myself, I had that excess time to focus on this. However, at the end of my tenure in particular, I did not feel that I was getting the reward out of the experience that I wanted to have, and I saw a quality drop off of the care that I was being given as a volunteer. Because I was a department head for, almost 10 years, I think, or 10 years. I can't honestly recall at this point because it's just a blur. But
Right.
anytime I go back or anytime I visit my old department, they always go, "Oh god, I didn't realize how much you were doing. I didn't realize how much work actually goes into it. Can you come back? Can you do I'm like, "Yeah, now you see what I was going through, but it was all volunteer. It was all out of love."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know with nonprofits, even with for-profits, you've got to have a bank account and
Yep.
you've got to,
Mm-hmm.
have tax records and all of that. I know it
Mhm.
for the nonprofit, if you have money in the bank account after the event, you have to list what that money is going to be used for, whether it's for the
Yep.
next event, whether, whatever is going on. You have to keep track of that. Um, and it's just like I don't I, would it have been great to be paid to work a convention? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that would
Hell
have been
yeah.
amazing.
Yep.
Um, but in the long run of it, I mean, as a department head, I had, I was basically working the entire weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mhm.
but before the weekends, I had a couple of, okay, well, I'm gonna take a couple of hours to write out emails to a couple of, you know, companies that are out there to see if we can show their anime. And by the end of it, it was all, yeah, you can just play Crunchyroll. Okay. So after that, did I need to get paid? No. No. But there are some departments that go above and beyond and
Mm-hmm.
they, they have to deal with more things. Do I think they need to get paid for it? Depends on what they're doing.
Yep.
It really does. If you are, just there and you are directing lines, no, your badge in your t-shirt, your hotel room, that's your payment. I know that there are some conventions that don't even do that. There are a couple of
Oh,
conventions
yeah.
out there
Mm-hmm.
that you get nothing. You don't get paid. You don't get the most you get is your staff badge.
Yep.
And
And
that's
a
it.
thank you.
Yeah. And the thing is, they tell you beforehand. This is all you're getting.
Mhm.
Everything else is out of your pocket. If you choose to do the work, that is on you.
And let me throw this out here. Let's say for the sake of it, nonprofits start paying their staffers and all of that stuff. Watch the price of your con badge go up,
Oh hell yeah.
and
Oh,
people
yeah.
are going to
Always.
bitch
Always.
and moan and be
Complain.
like,
Oh, yeah.
I don't get this type. You're charging me way too much for very little. You do realize 25% of that badge pays the people that are actually at the convention, and that's something people don't understand. Like everybody complains about the price of the badges for Anime NYC. What you don't understand is about 30% of that badge is actually is employee goes to the people who run the convention. They're paid to be there that weekend. I mean, I used to be a diehard con goer. I would never thought I never really would have wanted to staff a convention because I'm missing out on a lot of stuff. If some cons had paid me, I'd be like, well, at least I'm getting something in return. And hell, some conventions were like, well, like there was, I don't even know if they do this anymore. Volunteering and gopher ops. You work X amount of hours, you get your badge reimbursed, or a certain
Mhm.
amount. There is that. So I would have to
Yeah.
say in
Yeah,
this
that's
case,
still that's still a lot
yeah,
of corporate practices in the
yeah,
convention scene to do the gophering and having volunteers come in, and if they do like 30 plus hours, they like get a badge back or something.
yeah. All right. So, I mean, honestly, I don't think Anime Boston is in the wrong about this because it's a assumed industry standard. And I say assumed because
Yeah.
one person's doing it and they're seeing what everybody else is doing and they're all following that, but there's no official book or anything like that that says what you can and cannot do. I mean, there
I
is,
I
but it's more
mhm.
for the back end stuff of running conventions and so forth.
I feel like this is also a misunderstanding of
Mm-hmm.
expectation.
Yeah.
I feel like Um, and I'm not sure what the experience of Samurai Jill or anybody who's been putting in words about this like particular issue come from, but from what I interpreted from what I read was that
Mm-hmm.
they have been a cosplay guest, they are a content creator and they are used to the idea that people are compensated for their work in
Mm-hmm.
a way that is, I am creating content for you, therefore I should receive compensation, which, yes,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah.
However, when it
Well, then
comes to
you're a guest, not staff then.
yeah,
Exactly.
when you're a guest, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I was going to touch on and complete with was this in the case of anime conventions and convention going has been around since the 60s and 70s, back when the science fiction conventions were starting up, and it was just a labor of love.
Mm-hmm.
And it came out of wanting a safe space for us and our friends to hang out in and not
Yeah.
be like considered weird or like very over the top or anything like that. And so when you come from a place of, oh, yes, everybody immediately needs to be paid, you're almost negating the labor of love that those for decades before us have been putting in to just create this space. Yes, at the end of the day, it's free labor,
Mm-hmm.
but it's labor by choice. It's labor out of love. And if the organizations could pay the people that are doing the work for a reasonable amount for their time, like, I feel like one, they would do it if possible when governed by law of their local, states and governments.
Mm-hmm.
But two, I also feel like we would have a bigger complaint of people saying, "Well, you don't pay your convention workers enough." So, at the end of the day, it's a double-edged sword, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Where the people that are working it understand the understand the expectations in the fact that they're gonna run this event. They may not be fulfilled in certain ways, but they get to have fun at these events and do certain things that they don't get to see because and I'm gonna come from my own experience.
Yeah.
So, where I come from is maid cafe culture, idol culture, a lot of bringing the idea of high fantasy to conventions and convention going. And I stem from a place of I didn't see maid cafes at as many conventions as I wanted to, or in the way that was presented as I would have done so. So I brought it up with a friend. Well, they weren't a friend at the time, but they brought up kind of the back end of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I brought up the performer side of it, and we kind of ended up working together to create something that lasted for almost oh, no, it's still going on, honestly.
Yeah.
They still call me Mama Mato when I go in. It's so cute, it makes me cry. But it's lasted for over, oh God, how long has it been?
10 plus
It's been a long
years.
time.
Yes.
And with that, for me, it was a matter of I wanted to see a content that I wasn't seeing in another place. So I was given a budget. I was given a bit of assistance, but most of the time I just kind of handled it myself because I have problems with
Right.
control issues.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, I basically handled a lot of it by myself or with limited staff, and I was able to make something that gave a lot of people very pleasant memories to an event that they might have otherwise,
Yeah.
enjoyed. never had an experience with a maid cafe before, but now they get to chance to. And then, of course, with my performers and my volunteers that actually, because the people that were my maids and ballers were volunteers. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of them were hobby dancers or even professional dancers or even professional people who wanted to get into idol culture. And so you can't just kind of categorize the fact that, oh, all volunteers need to be paid for their work when some people just want a chance to show off what they can do in a safe space without the pressure of it being a job,
Right.
right? Because when it's a job, it becomes a responsibility at that point. When you're a volunteer, oh, yeah, they might have made a mistake, but they're a volunteer. We're teaching them, they're learning. It's a place where you can experience things and it is
Mm-hmm.
not
Mm-hmm.
ride or die,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
It's not going to be the end of the world unless you are leadership. And when you are leadership, it gives you the skills of working with people from different walks of life, from different platforms, from different neurospicy levels
Right.
and different places in the world because everybody attends anime conventions. Everyone from every walk of life. You will see the kid that saved their last pack of ramen noodles so they could afford the badge for the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll see the people that are really high and dressing up in their super fancy cosplay to be part of the competition.
Right.
Um, and at the end of the day, you have to determine what your worth is that you want out of it.
Right.
If that is the experience of running an event or doing something at the event that you want to have a little bit more support from the organization, then by all means. If you just want to go as an attendee because you wouldn't do the work if you weren't being paid, then by all means. Like that's the difference, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. Because look, I'll say this last part, then we'll get into the rest of the topics for tonight. If you are a content
Yeah.
creator and you're a guest, and so yeah, you are going to get paid. You may have to do a couple of panels, but you're going to get something for it. I know cosplayers who do conventions as guests, and they're like, if they don't pay this, I'm not going to buy. And I understand it, and rightfully so. Now, when you step on the other side and you are staff, that's where the game changes. That's all it is. So just understand, if you go to cons and you're a guest, you are going to get paid. You're going to get some type of stipend and all of that. When you're staff, you might not get as much, but remember, the work is different. You are, as a guest, you are presenting. You are all there in your best regalia. Like, Barry is going to show up in their best damned Lolita outfit and put on one hell of a damn show. Now, if they are staff, you're going to see them running around in shorts, t-shirt, a bandana on their head, and just handling business, and probably somebody running behind them holding an iced coffee. It's like that. And they're like, I ain't got time to throw this.
I mean, I usually
cosplay
wore
out."
maid cafe uniform even when I was running around, but a lot of staff, a lot
Yeah.
of my assistant staff would wear, because there are requirements for uniform too.
Well,
Like there are t-shirts
I'm
and
just
stuff you'll
saying,
usually get. But anyway, that's all
you know what I
topic.
mean. Like, when you're on the other side, you really don't have time to really put on a cosplay, especially if you. Granted, there are some masquerades where the cosplay coordinator does come out and wear something grandiose, which is cool. Sometimes not so much. Either or, as long as they put on a good show, that's all that really matters. And now we got that out the way. Let's talk about the VShoujo fallout. And oh my god!
Oh my god! Oh god!
I just
Thought I would
want.
avoid talking about this.
I just want to know, where is the money? But I can tell you where
yeah, I can tell you exactly where it went.
Same. Now, again,
Yep.
what happened to VShoujo? Something similar happened with my company. If you know who I work for, Google it. If you go back a few months, you'll find something. If not, don't ask, because I'm not going to tell you. But anywho, we're going to do a quick summary of this, and we're going to go and continue in with tonight's stories and so forth. So basically, because of what Iron Mouse said about VShoujo, she left the company. So did just about everybody else. There is $500,000 missing that we know of. Honestly, I think there's more than $1 million.
That's underreported. It's very much underreported.
Yes. Basically, the summary is she had a fundraiser for the disability that she has to raise money for research and so forth. And she did it. And she had to do it again because of this chaos. Now, because of all of this, the money disappearing, she left. A lot of other people left as well. And that's basically it. The money. The money is missing. People. There were V streamers who actually quit during the stream over what had happened. And I'm just like, wow.
Yeah. So to lay it out, some of these, what you might call like they're not graduations, but I would say they were moving to indie, were actually planned previously, but were due to company management, I will say, allegedly, because there are still things going on. And when it comes to what occurred, a lot of it was that basically things had been mismanaged for a very, very long time. And the talent had been neglected, and there was just a lot of things underneath the water, kind of like a duck, right? Where the
Yes.
duck is really calm on top of the water, but really striving hard underneath the water. A big part of it was coming from the fact that money was misused and mismanaged, but then also that when Gunrun was trying to recoup the losses and get financing, which for anybody who doesn't know what that is, it's when you go to banks or you go to financiers and you try to convince them that making anime girls on the internet popular is a monetary boon, that if they don't give you those funds, then you kind of screw yourself, right?
Yep.
Because at that point, you had used all the funds that were meant for other things, and that was not appropriate, especially because it was for charity, especially.
Yep.
Mousy didn't have to do this recoup charity. However, because it is near and dear to her heart, and because she knows that it is the right thing to do, it was very good of her to follow up with it and make sure that the organization got the funding that was promised to them a year. I think it was like a year ago was the estimation for the time that they had been neglected to be paid their funds due. Not only that, but they had been siphoning funds from the Japanese talents to cover up some of the mismanagement of funds in the American talents, because Kason, an amazing streamer, also included in I believe the Yakuza game series and a lot of things with Konami and other bigger names. They had been told that the Japan branch had been doing well, that there were no issues in the Japanese branch, that they shouldn't have any problems. And yeah, it was not good. And so a lot of these organized things had been already arranged for a lot of these people to quit, and they were basically just in a place where they needed to wait until 2 weeks or whatever to get out of there. However, after Mousy found out the lie, some people suspect, and this is all about this armchair lawyering, this armchair stuff, which I don't really like to glaze into. I like to wait until we find out all the aspects of it before we kind of make assumptions. But generally, the idea is that a lot of people, once Mousy kind of left, assumed that basically the company was going to go under, which obviously it is demonstrated that it will be going bankrupt and it will be dissolving, or at least that is what has been alleged on multiple social media platforms and in discords where this information is available. On top of that, previous talents such as Veve, Silverveil, and others were able to come out because the negation, allegedly, of the NDAs that came about due to their own contracts, where they were not able to speak before about their treatment and how they had actually left the company, which initially during their period of time had been considered contract negotiations gone not exactly well, or in some cases negatively. And then after the fact, it was found to be that staff had pitted the girls and other performers against each other, created animosity and hostility between talents, and generally caused just like bad personality clashing and stuff like that. I mean, obviously, I don't think a lot of those friendships are ever going to be repairable, but at the same time, at least they were able to come out and say their truth. Generally,
Well, you
I
just
think a
saved me
lot of
some
it
stuff to
is that.
discuss.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you saved me some stuff to discuss. So I actually have to thank you for that. So Is
Yeah,
it?
no
Yeah.
worries. I've
So
been doing a bit of research
no,
on this
it's
just so I'm a little more educated
it's
about
quite
it,
all
but
right. So
I think a big part of it
mhm.
is that a lot of people put VShoujo on a pedestal
Yeah,
because they
because
kind of held themselves
it's
as
because
this standard.
it's not that I think it's
Yeah.
not
Oh, go
just a
ahead.
standard. It's more like it's the quote unquote first of its kind.
Well, they had a prestige to them,
Yeah.
right? Being the first quote unquote American
There you go.
VTuber agency
They
that
were trying.
allowed for
V
what
Shoujo.
they said as talent first.
Yeah, V Shoujo looked at Hollow Live and said, "Hold my beer." That's
Well,
basically
it
what it
wasn't
was.
just that.
Mhm.
It was that Gunrun actively had negative association with Niji Sanji and with Hololive and would actively do things with their own company to kind of tease the other companies as
You
in
know,
like we're better than
yeah,
you. Like because they
yeah.
got Rushia and they got Matara,
To, to,
there were many times where they were very petty about it in their advertising
mhm.
and the way that they carried it.
Now, another prime example of that is if you're a wrestling fan like me, where you have WWE, TNA, ROH, AEW. TNA and ROH is off doing their own thing. AEW is basically looking at WWE and poking the bear with the stick because they're getting their former talents and stuff like that. They're like, oh, we're better. Yeah, TNA did the same thing in the early 2000s, and well, we all saw what happened with that. WCW did the same thing in the 90s, early 2000s. Oh, we all saw what happened with that. AEW is doing the same thing, and well, it's going to happen. That's another basic example. Or if you go to a convention and you hear there's another con going on, and you find out the people that are running that con is trying to throw the middle fingers at this convention because we can do it better. That's basically all what it boils down to. But I can say I am
It
glad
is
that
just
I
competition.
yes, and
It
I
is in
yes,
any industry that you will
mm-hmm,
find. It does
yeah,
not have to be anime. It does not have
yeah,
to be in this industry. It can
mm-hmm,
be anywhere. And it
mm-hmm,
is literally just pitting the companies against each other to
mm-hmm,
create,
right
interest and excitement,
now,
right?
yeah, and
Because, oh,
mhm,
boring is boring. Like vanilla
yes,
and not pain and comfortable is
yeah,
boring.
and I will
And
say yeah,
so in order to get,
mhm,
attention, they have to create drama.
yeah. And I will say this: I am glad Iron Mouse does have a contract with another talent agency, so that she has some type of
Yeah.
finances, funds to to basically live off of. So now that
Yeah, and on top of that, there was a big thing, especially in the previous talents like Bebe's and them's allegedly that V Shoujo was very heavily aggressive due to the fact that some of them had connections with other talent agencies, um, due to wanting to make, I guess, people more reliant on them. But at the
yeah,
end of the day, it's the whole don't put all your eggs in one basket
yeah,
fallacy, where
because
if you believe in one company taking care of you and you're loyal to them, there's a big chance that you're going to get screwed,
yeah,
to put it
yeah,
politely.
because there are some celebrities who are connected to different talent agencies. Like they're connected to this one
Mhm.
for music, they're connected to this one for books, this one for television shows and movies. It. And then you
Yeah.
have one that one agency handles everything, some that handles a bit of everything. That's how it goes. You got to make your money. Now that we got that out the way, Mako-chan, tell us about Gundam Wing. I know you've been dying to talk about that.
Yeah, so San Diego Comic Con was this past weekend. We all know that they were doing a panel on Thursday, but
Mm-hmm.
they did also have a little bit more later on in the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So we did come to find out that, yay, we're getting new Gundam Wing.
Woo!
Time for me to
Yeah,
break out Duo Maxwell one more time.
yeah. So
I
a
actually like
lot of
Troa Barton. Go
it was always
ahead,
Duo.
Mako.
It was always Duo. So yeah, so they did announce quite a lot. So they are first off, they are going um obviously on Gundam Info's YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
They're showing all of the episodes. They've got a couple of different versions, subtitles, different languages, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to catch up, it is, I believe, the HD remasters. So, that was announced a little bit ago. There is a new commemorative video that is titled Mobile Suit Gundam Wing Operation 30th. That was directed by Toru Iwasawa, who also worked on Jujutsu Kaisen, Dragon Ball Daima, and Frieren.
Mm.
There are a couple of shots in there that have updated animation to match the updated director for that video. On top of all of that, they announced that there's going to be a theatrical re-release of Gundam Wing Endless Waltz, which is the OVA movie, which is the first sequel of the series.
Mm-hmm.
So that is going to be shown in Japanese and in English, both in the US and in Japan. They are also going to be doing a new anniversary sequel manga. Now, the sequel manga is going to take place between Endless Waltz and Frozen Teardrop. Frozen Teardrop are sequel novels uh, that they produced that show, I guess it's what, like 20 years after, 30 years
Mm.
after, something like that. So you get to see some of the characters as adults. You don't get to see some of the characters, but it's you have to really be into Gundam Wing to really like Frozen Teardrop because it takes place so far outside of that. But yeah, so on top of all of that, there were a couple of announcements for other Gundam franchises. So Iron-Blooded Orphans, it's their 10th anniversary, so there's an anniversary project in the works for them. They're getting a theatrical re-release of the movie Erder Erder Hunt,
Mm-hmm.
Path of the Little Challenger. That's planned right now for Japan. And then there is the pending release of Mobile Suit Gundam Hathaway, The Sorcery of Nymph Circe, which is the sequel to the 2021 Mobile Suit Gundam Hathaway movie. That is coming out in Japan later this year and will have a Western theatrical release. And then they're thinking that it's probably going to be hitting Netflix at some
Mm.
point. So they have also announced that, there's going to be anniversary action figures and collectibles, various things like that. I know that there is a re-release of one of the Wing Zero, I believe the first Wing Zero
Yep.
Gunpla. And they are also doing, I believe they call them crystal versions, and it's actually the gunpla are made with clear colored plastic. So I know they have at least Epion being worked on for that one. So yeah, so a lot of stuff coming out for Gundam. I With everything new, with the new theatrical re-release of the movie, with the new sequel and all of that, I would not be surprised if you start hearing about re-releases of physical media, um, with as popular as vinyl is and as
Mm-hmm.
popular as the music is from Gundam Wing. I would not be surprised if there is a vinyl drop of the original soundtrack, which, holy crap, I would need. Um, But yeah, so a lot of stuff Gundam wise to look out for coming up.
If I can just get Gundam Wing on Blu-ray remastered, that's it for me.
Yeah, I have Endless Waltz on DVD, and I think it's episodes 1, 2, and 3 were on the DVD that I have.
Mm-hmm.
It's either 1, 2, and 3, or 4, 5, and 6. I don't remember
Gotcha.
now.
Okay.
All I remember is that it had Duo on the cover, and it was gifted to me. So, but
Duos
I
on the
would,
cover. That's all you care about.
yeah,
But
but I would love a full, complete, Blu-ray collection of all of that.
Bond006 says, I almost heard it in Professor Fink's voice. Good news, everyone. Loads more Gundam coming soon. I'm about that. All right. Mako, what's up with Bushiroad? They put out a statement about threats against voice actresses. And that's something we've talked about on this show. Basically, there's no reason for you to do that dumb shit. So,
Yeah, so Bushiroad released a statement that there were recent threats aimed at both the company and voice actress Amane Shindo, stating that rumors circulated that the voice actress rumors circulating on social media are unfounded.
mm-hmm.
They stated that the rumors started around Thursday about Shindo's private life. Shindo and Bushiroad both received threats of arson, injury, and murder. Stated it checked with Shindo and other parties involved and could confirm that the rumors were completely unfounded. The company added that while it recognizes the disclosure of private information of voice actors and celebrities outside of reasonable limits can itself be a major issue, it decided in this case to comment on the situation as the spread of the rumors led to threats.
Mm-hmm.
Bushiroad has consulted its legal counsel and reported the matter to investigative agencies and is considering file civil and or criminal cases. The company has asked readers to refrain from trusting and spreading false information. So while they did not specifically state what the rumors were, the rumors started circulating on Thursday from an account on Twitter that claims that it exposes idols and claimed that Shindo was cheating on her partner. The Twitter post has 56 million views as of press time, and alleged that Shindo's partner hired a detective to investigate possible infidelity and that the detective discovered proof of infidelity.
Jesus.
Yeah. So Shindo is in various Bushiroad franchises such as Bang Dream, Card Fight Vanguard, D4DJ, and voices Kurumi Haraga in the 100 Girlfriends Who Really, 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 Really Love You.
Mm-hmm.
And is also in the Hasu no Sora Love Live.
I think that's the newer one that's coming out. I'm like,
Yeah.
Jesus. All right, Barry, wrap it up before we get into Meanwhile in Japan.
All right. Let me see here. Oh, 1 second.
Take your time.
Where to go? So it's the cosplay. All right, let's see here. Fun time. So, um, when it comes to cosplay, usually we say that it should be for everybody, right? Well, in this
Mm-hmm.
case, Japanese politicians' attempt to engage voters using the Gundam franchise backfired spectacularly, drawing criticism from both fans and even rights holders, Bandai Namco. Um, yeah, basically, Taro Yamamoto, a Japanese politician and the leader of the Reiwa Shinsengumi party, which sounds a little bit more like a Bleach character cult than it does an actual political organization, donned the cosplay of an infamous Char Aznavour or Zex Marquise, as some may know as well, in a video posted to X, formerly Twitter, leading to the accusations of political exploitation and a fundamental misunderstanding of the character. The video, filmed in front of a life-size unicorn Gundam statue in Tokyo, shows Yamamoto in a striking red outfit, complete with a blonde wig and sunglasses, emulating Quattro Bagina, an alias for Char Aznable and Zeta from Zeta Gundam. He then introduces voice actor Maya Okamoto, who has voiced characters in the Gundam series herself, as his
Mm-hmm.
party's candidate for the upcoming House of Counselors election. When Okamoto questions his attire, Yamamoto simply replies, "Nothing in particular. This is how I always am," without offering any further explanation for the cosplay. Uh, Per JCast, Yamamoto's political stunt was met with swift and sharp criticism online. Japanese netizens were most critical about the unauthorized use of Gundam's IP for political purposes. Bandai Namco Filmworks Incorporated, the company who owns the Gundam franchise itself, responded to this controversy, though it didn't name Yamamoto directly. In a public statement, the company clarified that it is not authorized use of its character. It has not authorized use and its characters for political campaigning. This was not approved by Bandai Namco
Mm-hmm.
Filmworks Incorporated, Sunrise Studios, and our company does not support any particular candidate, the statement read, distancing the brand from the political campaign. There were also calls for the Gundam creator Yoshiyuki Tomino to make a statement regarding the issue. Many fans were also quick to point out the irony of a politician using Char Aznable, as the character is notorious for his villainous schemes, for a political endorsement. Char had ultimately attempted to drop an asteroid on Earth to force humanity migration into space,
Mm.
a sentiment that went against any positive political message. Minoru Ogino, an Oda Ward assemblyman known for his advocacy of freedom of expression in manga and anime, also critiqued Yamamoto's act, saying it made him look like a clown.
Wow.
The video
Well then.
itself was made to endorse Okamoto, who voiced Emma Sheen in Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam and Lena Ashta in Mobile Suit Gundam ZZ. Her entry into politics stems from her activism against a new invoice tax system, which she argues is detrimental to freelancers and small businesses, including those in the anime and entertainment industry. Since August 2022, she has served as the co-representative of VoiceShin, or VoicTion, an
Mm-hmm.
organization opposed to the tax system. Fans were of the opinion that Okamoto should have distanced herself from the video, given that she was a veteran voice actress. In the full video with Yamamoto, Okamoto explained her motivation for running for office. "I believe that things like pop culture and anime can reach the politically apathetic demographic," she stated, adding that she wants to be a voice for those affected by the invoice system and protect Japan's cultural industries. Yamamoto praised her as a rare species for entertaining politics not just for personal ambition, but to champion a cause, urging voters to support her to protect Japan's pop culture. This is
Mm-hmm.
not the first time a Japanese politician has become the talking point for doing anime cosplay. Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba's cosplay as Majin Buu from Dragon Ball Z has gone viral in the last year. Interestingly, Ishiba is a fan of the Gundam franchise, and you can look for more on the internet. But yeah, generally, usually dressing up as a cosplay, an anime villain when you are a politician, 10 out of 10 do not recommend.
Yeah.
uh,
Even if you like the
yeah,
character, you might want to think about that.
save it for the conventions. How about that?
Yep. All right, and now that we got that out the way, we're at the part of the show that y'all really like to stick around for. Meanwhile, in
Oh, hell yeah.
Japan, let's see. Since you haven't been here in a while, Barry, you get first pick.
Yay! Let's see the last one. I want to do the last one.
Okay. All right, Mako-chan.
It doesn't matter. What one are you taking?
I'm probably gonna take the third one. So I find it amusing.
Okay, then I am going to take the first one.
That sounds like you. All right, Mako, take it away.
So we have spoken about some of the fraud that occurs in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
It is considered what they quote as special fraud. The fraudsters pose as family members, police, rock stars, baseball players, astronauts, and more via telephone or social media to convince people to give them money by bank transfers or by handing it over directly to bagmen.
Mm.
Not only has the problem not shown any sign of weakening, but it appears to be evolving. This new development was discovered with the arrest of a 73-year-old resident of Nagoya City, Aichi Prefecture, for his involvement in a special fraud scheme. On the 2nd of June, the man posed as a police officer. He's 73, he's posing as a police officer, and went to an 88-year-old woman's home in Kasugi City to pick up 2 of her bank cards. Prior to that, an accomplice had called her on the telephone, also claiming to be a police officer, and told her that a large amount of money used in illegal activity has been transferred to her account and they needed to confiscate it. After the man's arrest, the man said this wasn't his first time acting as a bagman. The case took a strange turn when it was also revealed that he himself was once the victim of special fraud and lost about 120 million yen, which is about $815,000 in a similar scheme. Again, involving a fake police officer claiming he had illegal funds in his account. Police are investigating whether the same group that stole his money scouted him afterward, knowing he was in need of money. Obviously, online denizens were quick to say their piece. Fraud has completely destroyed his life. What kind of life is that? He made the choice to recoup his money through fraud, so I have no sympathy for him. I guess he felt he had nothing left to lose and went all in. They've started recycling their victims, zero waste. How do people still fall for this? There are posters everywhere and they always talk about it on TV. It always boils down to numbers and probabilities when it comes to phishing for fraud victims. And even if there's a 0.1% chance of finding someone unaware of special fraud, that's still about 10,000 potential targets in Japan. The only way to lower those odds is to basically keep talking about it. Make sure that everybody is aware of the signs, explain what's going on, and while things are, always evolving, keep up with those tactics and let people know. The reason why it's usually the elderly that fall for this is, one, they think it really is a family member. They may not talk to their grandchildren often. So if somebody with, even a remotely sounding voice says, Grandma, Grandpa, I'm stuck here. I need some help. Can you send me some money? They're not going to think twice. They're just going to send that money. And this is also Japan, where if somebody, a police officer comes up to you and says, hey, I think there was a mistake and you might have extra money in your account, they're not going to think anything different because,
it's a bit of an honor system.
Right. I mean, you've got businesses that you can go into that don't even have staff. And, it's an honor system to scan your stuff. You can't do that here. Hell, they had to shut down the self-serve scanners in a couple of the stores in my town, which are, again, almost all old people, because people were just walking out with, food and whatever else happened to be in the store. You can't do something like that here. They're very trusting in Japan because that's just the culture.
Yeah, I've been to a couple of places like that. Most of them are just like, they're either gashapon stores or card stores where it's like a vending machine. You buy the card that you want. Granted, there is a security camera, but there's actually no one in the store.
In a lot of rural areas, there will be vegetable stands and things of that nature that are either near or close to shrines or just in rural areas that are basically pay per honor system.
Yeah. There's like
Or
there's a few
like
places like
do
that out here.
bartering.
There's places like that I've seen out here in certain parts of Jersey where you're driving. Like there is like there's a stand with everything, or there's like a place where you get firewood, but there is a camera watching.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
actually
I mean,
one
a
right
lot of
by
these
me.
places don't have cameras. Oh, sorry, Mako, go ahead.
Yeah, no, there's actually one by me. There is a camera on there, but it's all,
Mhm.
it's all cash, but they've got a bunch of different stuff. And, sometimes there's somebody that's actually, standing there that will come up to the gate to help you. But most of the time there's nobody there. It's just a camera watching to make sure that you don't just grab crap and go.
Yep. All right. Now our next story is about a school teacher who lost his job for working. Yeah, exactly what I said. For working. It seems that the Board of Education issued an apology to the children for the emotional damage over their teacher having a part-time job. That's kind of sad. So, here's the thing. Back on July 4th, someone contacted the Okayama City Board of Education to report that they'd seen a man in his 60s who's a teacher at one of the city's public junior high schools working at a convenience store in Kurashiki, the next town over. The next day, the principal of the school, the man teacher, had made a trip there and confirmed with his own eyes that the teacher was working there and confronted him about it. Now, to clarify, the man was not ditching classes he's supposed to be teaching to be there. The person who reported him to the board had spotted him at the store outside of school hours, and the day that which the principal caught him in an act of a convenience store employment was on a Saturday, the teacher's day off. Nor was the type of now let me go back here a little bit. Let me see if they revealed his name. No, it doesn't look like that they did so far just yet. But anywho, to get back to the matter at hand here, being a convenience store clerk is basically seen as respectable, honest work in Japan, a country where the baseline image of a service sector worker is earnest, courteous individual. Okay, that's fine by me. I'm about that. But the problem was the man was doing any sort of work besides his regular teachings at the job at the school. It's not unusual for employee contracts in Japan to include rules about not having side jobs. These aren't non-competition clauses either, such as pledging to not concurrently work for another organization whose promotion and success would be detrimental to the primary employee. They're just blanket across-the-board promises not to earn money during anything else. Presumably, the logic is that the employer wants the worker to focus all their energy on the main job. Viewing a side gig is something that will cut into focus and recovery time to keep them working in peak condition, or worry that their customers or users will see things that way and perceive allowing workers a second job as a lack of commitment to providing the optimum quality. It's not about having more money per se. It's more about this is what you do. This is all you do. You shouldn't be doing anything else. So, as the assistant teacher was caught by the principal, it came out that he's been working part-time there since November of 2023. He has earned about 1.7 million yen, which is a little bit under $12,000 US. That's one hell of a conversion rate. And most of his lucrative months being around 130,000 yen. That's not exactly living the high life kind of money, and when he asked why he's taking on a second job, the teacher said he'd been doing it to supplement his earnings in response to his living circumstances following his rehiring. It sounds like he might have been caught in some type of workplace violation previously, but actually the term is in reference to a common Japanese employment practice where workers are let go by their employers once they hit retirement age and then are rehired to do the same thing at a lower cost. It's sort of like how, if you remember years ago, Circuit City did that. They basically fired their employees and rehired them at a lower rate. Yeah, that really worked out for them. Anyhow, Regardless of my personal situation, my conduct was damaging to the trust of the public educators and professional ethics, said the teacher in a statement of apology. And I deeply regret my actions. Meanwhile, the head of the Okayama City Board of Ed said, "We deeply apologize for the great distress and worry that has caused to the children, their guardians, and the residents of the city, vowing to take measures to ensure such an incident will not happen again and to make efforts to restore trust in the educational system." Good luck with that. Nevertheless, the man has indicated he plans to resign from his teaching position over the incident. He's also stopped working at the convenience store as part of the fallout, so he's about to go from 2 sources of income to none, since he apparently doesn't have a large enough nest egg to just retire. It would just seem that he'll need to find a new job, but at least he's established his credentials as someone who is a hard worker. Well now.
That's so gross.
Very.
Hearing that they do that practice of like, oh well, you can just, we'll just hire you back at a lower cost, even if your life costs have not changed. And yeah, you can just eat that. You can eat that whole pie. Like that's just for you as a treat. Like we will keep you around, but we're gonna pay you less.
The audacity.
I don't know. It's sour in my mouth for some reason.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Okay. Barry, take it away.
You know what? Maybe this teacher needs a chance to go to this bar because it seems like they've been working really hard and it has been unappreciated. But a bar event for sitting and spacing out opening in Tokyo offers the luxury of doing nothing. Botto Suru Bar is committed to the Botto Suru ideal. Tokyo's Botto Suru Bar is set to welcome customers next month, but part of its name is a little misleading. When you hear bar, you probably imagine a place that serves beer, wine, and cocktails, but the Botto Suru's bar menu consists of non-alcoholic beverages, coffee, and tea. So you could make an argument that it should be really called the Botto Suru Cafe. We'll give it a pass. Though, because the place is much more on solid ground with the Botto Suru part of its name, since Botto Suru is the Japanese term for space out, and that's exactly the experience that the Botto Suru Bar is offering. A limited time event hosted by art gallery Moon in downtown Tokyo's stylish Hiro neighborhood. The Botto Suru Bar says it hopes to provide visitors with a luxurious time of doing nothing and spacing out for an extended period of time. Doing nothing in this case seems to mean doing nothing physically or mentally taxing, since each of the customers will be served a soothing cup of either spacing out coffee or spacing out herbal tea to sip. You don't have to just stare at the wall either, since the Botto Suru Bar event is a collaboration between Moon and design studio Vitro, creator of the Do relaxation lighting device. Do is modeled after the Senko Hanabi, traditionally string-shaped handheld firework that emit a soft shower of sparks and are a nostalgic symbol of innocent summer fun in Japan. Instead of sparks, though, Do use drops of illuminated water with the fluctuations as the light reflects the liquid and illuminates ripples in the pool as it falls, shown in testing to significantly reduce stress levels in those who watch the cycling of the water. Because of the Senko Hanabi connection, Botto Suru Bar will a one-day event held on August 7th in Japan's Fireworks Day, which is a quasi-holiday. There will be 3 seatings, one at 6, one at 7, and one at 8 p.m., with one drink inclusive ticket at the price of about 1,500 yen, or I would say close to 1050, now probably a little bit cheaper in U.S. conversion rates. And the reservations available are online. So if you want to get nothing done, but you should check it out.
Yeah. So just so you know, next week's show, we'll be doing a live feed from this bar, and I'll be here in New York, but Mako-chan will be there, and this will be a live feed of her just enjoying a cup of herbal tea.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, not that I wouldn't want to go to Japan and enjoy a cup of herbal tea, but it's a hell of a lot cheaper and easier for me to, stay home and enjoy a cup of herbal tea.
Or a nice cup of corn tea.
I still have not made any of that, and it's really quite scary. It really is. I will eventually have to try some of it and maybe use some of their suggested mix-ins.
Barry, when I was in Japan, I had gone to Kaldi Coffee, and I went and bought 4 bags of their medium blend, which is really good. As I was walking through the store, I saw a bag that said corn tea, and I'm like, I know one person I would buy this for, and that would find this amusing, and would still also try it.
Yeah, I mean, well, honestly, a lot of the corn stuff, I mean, it's like anything else you think. I mean, we have candy corn here in the States. I mean, it's just another, I don't know. I feel like a lot of things that a lot of Americans think are weird, it is just either it is actually weird or it's just something that we see as like kind of like kitschy,
I
just
look
kind
at
of
this
like Home Goods,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like you see things at Home Goods and you're like, I don't know, that's a little funky to me, but could be tasty.
yeah. And if you've been in the anime fandom for God knows how long, and you say something like that,
Mhm.
you know it's got to be outlandish as F because of what it is, Because
Yeah.
we're like, oh, that looks interesting. I'll try that. That looks interesting. I'll try that. What is that? I'll
Yeah.
try it, It's like that. All right. Now that we've gone way over our expiration date, it's time for us to get the heck up on out of here. So,
Yeah.
if you like tonight's show, tell a friend. They in turn will tell another friend, and so on and so forth. We're independent bloggers, independent podcasters. So what we like and don't like, we'll tell you straight up. If you have any questions about the show tonight, drop us a line at podcast@animejamsession.com. Again, that is podcast@animejamsession.com. We're here to believe you. Don't forget to check out our website at animejamsession.com, where you will find not just our weekly podcast, you will find cosplay tips and tricks, cosplayer interviews, editorials, anime reviews, convention reports. You'll find links to our YouTube and Facebook pages of cosplay and convention coverage. All that and a lot more at animejamsession.com. And please, while you're at it, subscribe to the feed. You can find us on Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, or wherever else you get your podcasts. Some of them, the sites have the ability to leave reviews, so if you can, drop us a line. We'd like to know what you think if you can't drop an email, Social media, Anime Jam Session on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Blue Sky. That's the easiest way to find us, and we appreciate and love everybody who is subbed to our social medias. We're there for you, and we really appreciate it. And if you're watching with us live, down below is active links to our Stream Elements, Stream Live, and our Ko-Fi. You're going to throw us a few dollars. If not, hey, cheer us on with bits. We really appreciate that. Or sub to the channel. Give out a gift sub. We really appreciate that. All that goes so that we can keep doing the show. We really appreciate you for that. So now we're going to go around the room. Last words. Mako-chan.
I am freaking exhausted, so I'm going to enjoy going to sleep.
Last words. Barry.
I am excited for this weekend. I'm tentatively nervous. I think it's going to be a fun time, but I wish you sweet dreams.
My last words. I'm probably going to spend the next 10-15 minutes catching up with Barry and showing her photos from Japan. So, anywho, that is it. End of list. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode. We're hoping you all come back with us and join us. So, we really appreciate that. So, I think it's time for us to get up and go. So, I'm Ranma.
I'm Mako-chan.
And I'm Barry Mellon.
Great fight, great night. See you next week.
Good night.
Yamatane.
Say goodnight, Barry.
Good night, Barry.
Perfect. Awesome. We're getting up on out of here. See you all next week. Now, where does that off button go? Oh, here we go.
This podcast has been a production of Anime Jam Session and AJS Productions. No fanboys and fangirls were hurt, maimed, shot, electrocuted, or pistol whipped in this episode. For now. The views, opinions, and thoughts expressed on this show do not reflect the staff or the network as a whole. But we're still right, damn it. For transcripts of this episode, start typing. Check us out at animejamsession.com and vognetwork.com for more information about us and other programming. Jamatane!